and welcome to another Pilates class. I'm bringing Pilates directly to your home, no equipment required today. So if you're loving the channel, loving the classes, please hit that subscribe button before we get started. We're going to begin on hands and knees for some cat-cow movements. Onto all fours position and start to gently lower your tummy, open your collarbones and arch the back. Then lift the belly, lift the spine, tuck the tail, tuck the chin. And again, arching the back. This is going to be our inhale. And we're going to exhale as we round. Inhale as we arch. Exhale as we round. Moving within your range of motion. Inhale. And exhale. Remember that tailbone and that neck are part of your spine. So make sure you're moving those as well. And one more round. And exhale. Part your hands a little bit wider and begin with your chest circles. So this is similar to the cat-cow, but we're adding a circle in as well. So lower yourself down as you arch your spine, come across the mat, and then round your back as you come up. So you start to take these nice circles with the chest, but we're still thinking about arching and rounding as well. So we're keeping lots and lots of movement. Really nice one to stretch shoulders, stretch pectoral muscles, and add a bit of strength and control at the same time. Let's change direction. We're also working a little bit of load through the wrists here, aren't we? So you can feel those warming up. Remembering to round and arch, round and arch. Last barrel roll here, last chest circle. Lovely, back to centre. Bring the hands back in underneath the shoulders and find a nice neutral spine. So that's a nice length to your spine. And then just turn your head so you look over your shoulder as if you're looking towards your toes. And you'll feel you go into a bit of a side bend there, that's what we want. And then look over the other shoulder towards your toes, side bend. So just gently taking these side to side, bending through the spine. We call these your alligator, which is quite apt, isn't it? So gently taking that look over each shoulder, side to side. Doing a little bit of side bending. Opening left side of the spine and opening right side of the spine. Wonderful. And then just coming back to sit off the wrists for a moment. You can sit comfortably, however that is for you, and starting to circle your wrists. Changing direction there. And again, however you're sitting, don't really mind for this bit. You're just going to take one wrist down to one side of the body and a wrist down to the other, so that we start to work a little bit of load. Now you can start with your fingertips turned out to the sides, but you could play around with kind of bringing the fingertips more forward facing or anywhere in between. So just a gentle amount of strength and pressure through the wrists. Bringing it back to centre. Bring your hands together to create one big fist and gentle circles through the wrists. Changing direction. And we're going to come back to hands and knees. On the hands and knees, stack each hip directly above each knee. So that means kind of widthways as well. We start with the wrists stacked under the shoulders, but then we're actually going to take our hands, maybe just half a hand span further forwards. This will help to activate the front of the shoulders in the shoulder stability. Lengthen through the tailbone so you find that long back. And then when you're ready, start to gently draw your toe back along the mat like you're drawing a line of sand. And then start to float and lift the leg. Gently bring the toe back and draw that line in the sand to return the knee. Changing sides. So draw your toe to draw that line in the sand, floating and lifting, squeezing into the glute there, and returning back, draw your line as you come in. So drawing that lovely line each time, just alternating left and right side. That's it. Goal here is to try and keep the length to the spine and to try and keep the hips as level as you can. You might notice if you have a little look at me now, there's a temptation to lift that leg really high and open the pelvis. I'm just going to correct that by leveling off the pelvis and lowering the height of the leg. So bringing that back in when you're ready. That's it. So keep going, alternating legs here. Your goal isn't to kick as high as you possibly can. This isn't the flexibility challenge. The challenge here is to try and keep your pelvis as level as possible. Nice visualization I use in my classes is to imagine there is a tray of champagne balancing on your bottom and you don't want that to slide off. So you're keeping your bottom as steady as we can, squeezing into each glute as we go. Remember to co-contract with core and back here. So you want to find length at the lumbar and drawing in through the abdominals to support that. We're just here for 2 more, Squeezing into the glute, drawing in through the abdominals. Good, last one. And then we're going to move on to the arms. So again, just check your setup. Hips stacked above knees. Wrists just slightly further forward from the shoulders. And back of the neck nice and long in line with the rest of the body. We're going to draw that line of sand with the fingertips this time. So draw forwards towards the front edge of your mat and eventually your arm will float off and rise. Draw that line again as you come back in. So drawing that line of sand and then floating the arm away. This helps us to maintain really nice shoulder alignment. We get that drawing first, then the floating. It prevents that kind of temptation to just fling the arm up. Okay, helps us with that alignment through shoulder girdle. So as you're going here, set your shoulders down away from your ears. Try and leave space and create space between ears and shoulders. So even as you float your arm forwards, almost retract your shoulder down and back. That's it. So even as you're floating forwards, retract the shoulder back. That's it. So keep working through those. This just stops us from hunching shoulders up to ears and building too much tension there. Keeping the neck nicely elongated in line with the rest of the spine. We're just here for 3 more. Floating, drawing your line in the sand. That's it. 1 more time like that. Keeping shoulders set down away from the ears. And hands down to the mat. Quick child's pose. We're going to sit back, bottom to feet, rest the head, and take 3 deep breaths. Finding your hands and knees, stretch it again. Let's go to draw the shoulders down away from the ears, lengthen through the spine and the tailbone, and think about your balanced pelvis. Draw your line in the sand with your leg, and start to float and hold the leg. Check your tray of champagne on your hips, and then the opposite hand, draw that line of sand forwards and float the arm away, keeping the shoulders set down away from the ears. Hold that balance for 3, 2, 1, and gently bring arm and leg back in. Changing legs. Draw your line in the sand, start to float the leg away. Check your tray of champagne and engage through the core. Starting to float the opposite hand out away from you, keeping shoulders down away from ears. Holding your balance for 3, for 2, for 1, and bring it down. And changing legs. Draw your line with your toe. Floating, squeezing into the glutes there. Tray of champagne level. Opposite hand starts to float away. Shoulders set down away from ears. 3, 2, 1, and bring it back in. And changing sides. Draw your line with your toe. Floating the leg just in line with the body height here. Balance that tray of champagne. And opposite hand, draw your line in the sand, float away. Holding 3, 2, 1, and bring it back in. This time, changing sides, but do arm and leg at the same time. So we're going to take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, arm and leg, draw those lines simultaneously and float. Tray of champagne, shoulders set down away from ears. 3, 2, 1, and draw it back in. And change the legs. Inhale. Exhale, extending. Holding 3, 2, 1. Returning. Breath in to prepare. Draw your lines in the sand. floating and lifting. Nice long through the neck. 2, 1, returning. Good, breath in. And draw your lines, opposite arm and leg, floating away and up. Hold 3, 2, 1, and return. Once more on each side, breath in to prepare. Exhale. Wonderful. Watch the champagne, watch the shoulders. Gently returning. We've got 1 more to go. Breath in. Exhale, extend. Watch the champagne, watch the shoulders. 3, 2, 1. And returning, hands and knees to the ground. Big toes together, knees apart, wide leg, child's pose now. 3 deep breaths. Moving back to the hands and knees now. Knees stacked below hips, should I say. And where your wrists are, we're actually going to plant our elbows down there instead. Okay, you can spread your fingertips quite wide here for good support. And we're going to let the head and the neck just relax and release off a little bit here. We're going to start with some tricep extensions, which are quite simple in themselves, but we're going to start thinking about drawing our elbows and forearms and squeezing them together. So we get this inward pressure of your left and your right arms squeezing towards the midline of your mat. Then press through the hands and the elbows straighten and you lift away slightly from the mat. Gently lower the elbows. So keep that gentle inward pressure. It doesn't have to be crazy amounts, but push through the hands, lifting and lowering. So this turns into a tricep extension. So this should be working the backs of the arms. Exhale on the work. Inhale on the return. Squeezing in through the elbows, remember, in through the arms. Drawing the arms towards the midline of the mat here. It will really build up that heat. We're keeping the back fairly straight. And we're not allowing our bottom to sort of wiggle forwards or backwards. It just stays stacked above the hips. Above the knees, I should say. Lovely, using that exhale to straighten. Inhale, elbows to the mat, squeezing inwards, inward pressure through the arms. Good. Let's go for 2 more. These should be starting to fire up now. This is our preparation for what's to come next. So come back off your arms, give them a bit of a shake if they need it. Now what's coming next is a Pilates press up. Pilates press-ups, we do quite narrow ones to work the triceps rather than wider ones which would work your pectorals and your shoulders a little bit more. So in order to keep the elbows nice and narrow, we get that tricep to turn on. So we need our kneeling plank position, which is a bit like hands and knees, but walk your hands further forwards and allow your hips to dip ever so slightly. When I say dip, we don't want to lose control and really let them sag, okay? So think about tucking your tailbone down, drawing your pubic bone up towards your nose. Keep the elbows narrow, keep elbows and arms squeezing inwards again in towards the midline of the mat, and then gently bend the elbows. Now don't worry if you can't get back up from here. If you can, squeeze your arms inwards, push through the hands. Okay. Gently work on these lowers, keeping the elbows narrow, narrow, narrow. They skim past the ribs, and then push down through the hands if you've got that bit. If you haven't got the push back up yet, don't worry. You can train that strength by doing these slow lowers. And push back up here for 3 more. Squeezing inwards through the arms. Getting that gentle sort of inward pressure all the time will really, really ramp up this tricep activation. You'll really feel those working. Good. Last one then. Nice and narrow. Squeezing arms inwards, 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 and big push away. Good, come back to sit off the wrists 1 more time and give those a little bit of a roll around if you need to. So hopefully that was sort of manageable. Don't worry if you weren't getting the push back up just yet. We're going to try and do another really slow lower down and hold and hover just above the mat. Then you're going to just let yourself go and relax wherever you need to, okay? So taking it back out to that kneeling plank position. Remember we tuck the tail, drew the pubic bone up towards the chin and looking for a nice straight spine. Elbows and arms are squeezing inwards and we're going to lower down, keeping the elbows narrow and just hover above the floor maybe for 5, for 4, for 3. Keep squeezing in, and 2, and 1, and relax to your tummy. Really, really good job. Take that back to your child's pose and rest your elbows and head on the mat. Take your hands to prayer and bring the hands just behind the head, and that can give you a nice tricep stretch. So just breathing deeply there into the triceps. Give those a little bit of time. Bringing yourself now to lay down on your back, we're going to work on some lower body. So bringing yourself to lie in our Pilates rest position. This is with the feet walked in towards the bottom, knees slightly bent, arms nice and relaxed. We'll begin with our bridge. We're going to push our lower back into the mat. That should roll your pelvis a bit closer to your rib cage, and you should be able to feel your core engage there. Now start to squeeze your buttocks together towards one another, and then press down through your feet as you slowly peel your spine off the mat, and then gently lower each vertebra in turn back down towards the mat. And repeat. Imprint your lower back, squeeze your buttocks, press symmetrically through the feet as we peel the spine away from the floor, and then just slowly, gently guide your spine back down to the floor. And again, imprint lower spine, squeeze glutes together, push down symmetrically through the feet to lift to your bridge. I always suggest that you imagine like you're laying somebody else's spine down to the floor as you come down. You'd be much more careful with somebody else's back, so give yourself that same treatment. Imprint that lower back, squeeze those glutes, press evenly through the feet, lifting up to your bridge. At the top of the bridge here, just hold for me and squeeze your buttocks. And just notice as you give them those extra squeeze, it lifts your hips a little bit higher. We're also going to think about elongating this lower back, because it's very easy for the lower back to go into an arch and the vertebra to become a bit compressed. So think about kind of tucking and scooping your tailbone away from you to find that length at the lumbar. Stretch long through the knees, and then start to lay your spine carefully, gorgeous movement down towards the mat again. And again, imprint the lower back, squeeze the buttocks, push down through the feet, start to lift. Check in with that lower back, that you're lengthening it, scooping and tucking your hips away from you, and then gently rolling back down to the mat. And we've just got 3 more here. Imprint your spine, squeeze your glutes, press down through those feet to lift, guiding your spine beautifully down to the mat. And we're going to come all the way up again, watching for that low back, lengthen it, and gently down to the mat. Final articulated spine bridge, let's go. Guiding your spine back down to the mat. So that's an articulated bridge. This time we're going to do more of a straight spine bridge if your back's up to it. So we're going to squeeze the glutes, and we're just going to power up with a big hip thrust, and then gently down. Now you don't have to worry as much about the articulation here, so we're going to squeeze and lift, lower, squeeze and lift, lower, push, lower, push, lower, and 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1, and gently lower down. Okay, so articulate up one more time, and then up to the tiptoes. Heels down, articulate back down. Articulate up to the tiptoes. Heels down, articulate down. And again, articulate up to bridge, up to the tiptoes. Articulate spine back down. Articulate bridge up, lift through the heels. Heels down, articulate down. And articulate up, squeeze and lift through the heels, and heels down, articulate down. Lovely stuff. So this time, if you'd like to go for a long leg up towards the ceiling, we're going to move on to some inner thighs. We're going to find what we call the turnout position here. So with the foot slightly flexed, we're going to turn the toes out away from the center line, okay? And that has the effect of turning your kneecap out. You can probably see that. And it also has the effect of turning your hip out. That's harder to see, but you might be able to feel that.
And we're going to keep this leg nice and strong to work the inner thigh as we inhale to lower the leg. Exhale to lift, and work within your range. If you feel as you're lowering down that you're getting that arching back and your core isn't engaging, it might be that you're going too low, okay? But you might just need to remind yourself to keep that core on to keep your back safe. So that's about 3. We'll inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. 4. Keeping that turnout position. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower, that's 5. Inhale. Exhale, that's 6. Exhale, that's 7. 8. Keeping turnout. 9. We're going to hold up there on 10 this time. So holding that leg elevated in the turnout position. Mini up and down. So these are quite controlled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold there. Bend your knee wide. Your heel comes towards your inside knee. And then push your heel long and away. So still in turnout position. Wide knee bend. Push through. Wide knee bend. Push through. Wide knee bend. Push through. And 6. And push. And 5. And push. And 4. And push. And 3. And push. And 2. And push. And 1. Push. Hold it there. We're just holding now in the turnout for 10 seconds. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Come down about halfway to the ground. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can bring your leg back in and just let your knees open like butterfly legs there. If you need to do some hip circles or kind of wiggle your leg around a little bit more, feel free to loosen that off if that's getting a little bit tight. So that should have worked your inner thigh and inner hip quite nicely. We're going to work the other leg, of course. So when you're ready to join me, let's kick our other leg up towards the ceiling. Flex through the foot and turn out position through the leg. Inhale to lower the leg. Exhale, lift. Inhale to lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale to lower. Exhale, lift. Keep it up. Keeping that turnout position, keeping that controlled rhythm. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Let's hold on the next one. So we're going to exhale to lift and hold. Mini pulses. These aren't violent. We're just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold it there. Bend your knee wide as your heel comes to the inner knee. And then push long through your heel, still in turnout. Bend the knee wide. Push through. Knee wide. Push through. Knee wide. Push through. Knee wide. We're halfway through these. We've got another 5. And push. 4. And push. 3. And push. 2. And push. Last one. We're going to push and hold there. Holding the leg aloft in turnout for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Come down halfway and hold again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And bring that leg back in. Find those butterfly legs again if you like those, or alternatively feel free to kick your hips around and wiggle your legs around a little bit more. In the butterfly legs, we should have our feet touching, the soles of our feet touching, and our knees splayed out wide like butterfly wings. You can make this a little bit more active by pushing the soles of your feet together. You might find that actually that gives you a really nice heat in the stretch. You might like that. If that's just too much effort and you want to relax and let gravity do the work, please let gravity do the work and enjoy it. Maybe just pressing together for a few more seconds, maybe another 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1. Stop pushing and let your knees open out wide. You might be surprised by how much further they've gone after that engagement. Gently bring your knees back into centre, and we're going to cross our left ankle on top of the right knee. Ready for our pigeon stretch. So there's two options here. Either push your left knee open further to feel the stretch in the outer glutes on the left side. If you're not feeling enough here, your second option is to pick your legs up, grab behind your right leg and pull in toward the body. Now, whichever position you've gone for, we're going to enjoy this stretch at the centre before we level it up a little bit further. So deep breaths, pushing or pulling the stretch on as much as you want to. And then this next level up is optional, of course. You're going to gently roll your lower body over towards the right side a little bit, okay? And that might just give you that extra length down the outer left hip. So the shoulder girdle wants to stay quite square in the middle of the mat. It's the pelvic girdle and the legs that are twisting to the side. Again, if you're finding it difficult to hold on, I quite like to bring that right elbow onto the floor beside me, and then I can hold and support the weight of the legs here, rather than feeling like you have to keep two hands firmly behind the thigh. But you will find a way that kind of works for you. And then gently recentering, and we'll just cross the legs the other way. So right ankle on top of left knee. Option 1 is to push your right knee open. That might be plenty. If you're someone who wants a bit more, option 2 is to pull your legs in towards the body. And just push or pull nice and gently to feel that stretch come around the outer right hip. Again, if you want that extra, you will gently roll your hips towards the left side. I've planted my left elbow down there to support the structure of my legs. You'll find a way that works for you. If you don't like this rolling over, stay in the centre line. You'll still be getting a pretty good stretch there. Returning the body back through to the centre, stretching your toes long to the bottom edge of your mat, stretching your hands up top to the top edge of your mat, and take that full body stretch all the way through your tum. Lovely deep breaths. And then walking the feet back in towards the bottom. We'll cuddle the knees in toward the chest. We will lift the head and shoulders up towards the knees and start to rock and roll forwards and backwards, up and down the spine. You'll need a little bit of momentum. You might find that you've got enough momentum to rock yourself up to your sit bones, or you can come up any other way you like and sit comfortably. We're going to take a final few breaths together. So let's reach up, deep breath in, and exhale, releasing. Inhale, nice big stretch. Exhale, releasing. And final big breath, reaching tall. And letting it go. I hope you've really enjoyed today's class, and I'll see you on the next one.